The night the East exploded. June 22nd, 1941. 3:15 hours. The Bug River frontier. Searchlights snap on without warning, slicing through the mist like blades. Artillery speaks first. Thousands of guns firing in perfect sequence, the ground shuddering as if something vast has awakened beneath it. Soviet sentries barely have time to turn before the horizon detonates. Bridges vanish in white flame. Telephone wires whip and die. The night is ripped open. You can hear it before you understand it. A low, rolling thunder. Then the sky fills. Heinkel He-111s roar overhead. Black crosses flashing as bombs tumble into sleeping barracks. Stuka sirens scream. Not to guide the pilot, but to terrify the man below. Somewhere along the line, a Red Army lieutenant reaches for a handset that no longer works. Somewhere else, a German panzer commander checks his watch and gives a single nod. Engines surge. Tracks bite into earth. Operation Barbarossa has begun. Columns of Panzer IIIs and IVs punch eastward. Headlights hooded, moving with rehearsed precision. Infantry of army groups center job behind them. Rifles slung, breath fogging in the pre-dawn air. Orders are short, brutal, clear, encircle, destroy. Do not stop. By sunrise, entire Soviet divisions are already unraveling. Airfields burn. Rows of aircraft wreck before their wheels ever leave the ground. Prisoners stumble west in shocked silence, hands raised, still trying to understand how the war found them in their bunks. This is not chaos. This is choreography. German officers speak of weeks, not months. Moscow is a destination, not a question. Maps are clean. Arrows are bold. The men believe it. They have seen Poland fall in days. France in weeks. The East, they are told, will collapse even faster. But the land does not react like the others. The distances stretch. Roads dissolve into dust. Villages burn without surrendering anything of value. And as the sun climbs higher, the heat follows, thick, punishing, relentless. Sweat runs into eyes. Fuel trucks lag behind. Still, the advance does not slow. By nightfall, the encirclements begin to close. Hundreds of thousands are trapped. From Berlin, it looks like victory. From the front, it feels like momentum. And momentum is intoxicating. But somewhere beyond the smoke, beyond the shattered borders and the fleeing civilians, the war is already changing, quietly, invisibly, preparing its first reply. The illusion of invincibility. July 1941. Smolensk corridor. High summer. The sun beats down on steel and flesh alike. Panzer crews stripped to their undershirts, skin blackened by oil and dust. Engines overheat. Radiators hiss. The advance continues anyway. Orders from above are unchanged. Push east, close the pockets, annihilate what's inside. And the pockets are enormous. Entire Soviet armies vanish behind German lines. At Minsk, at Smolensk, cauldrons of men collapse inward as panzer pincers meet, sealing hundreds of thousands into shrinking rings of fire. Artillery pounds day and night. Infantry advances through fields littered with abandoned rifles. Smashed trucks, scorched bread wagons. Prisoners come in waves. Endless columns. Eyes hollow. Boots worn to rags. German soldiers stare, stunned by the scale of it. No campaign in history has produced captures like these. Some laugh in disbelief. Others turn away. Guards grow careless. Victory feels inevitable now. So complete it seems unreal. Headquarters agrees. Maps are updated with confident strokes. Moscow is circled in red pencil. The war, it is said, will be over before autumn. There is talk of leave, of medals, of farms and cities waiting to be claimed. Hitler intervenes personally, redirecting armor south and north, convinced the Soviet Union is already mortally wounded. But the battlefield tells a different story. The Red Army does not dissolve. It bleeds and then reforms. New units appear where none should exist. Teenagers. Old men. Siberian reserves whispered about, but not yet seen. Behind the front, factories are dismantled piece by piece, loaded onto trains and hauled east beyond German reach. Every mile forward stretches supply lines thinner. Fuel becomes a question mark. Ammunition, a calculation. Time, an enemy. The roads, if they can be called roads, grind men down. Dust coats lungs, clogs weapons, blinds drivers. Horses drop where they stand. Trucks are cannibalized to keep others moving. A panzer division pauses, not for resistance, but because the fuel simply isn't there. Still, the orders come. Advance, advance, advance. By late August, the first rains arrive. The dust turns to mud, thick and sucking. Vehicles bog down axle deep. Infantry slog forward, each step a fight. The Russians have a word for it, Rasputitsa. The Germans learn it the hard way. And yet, despite everything, the spearheads turn again toward Moscow. Because to stop now would mean admitting the impossible, that the enemy still lives, that the land itself is resisting. That victory may not be guaranteed. Ahead lies the capital. Behind them, the summer. And closing fast, something colder. The road that led nowhere. October 1941. Operation Typhoon. The march on Moscow. Morning fog hangs low over the forest roads as engines struggle to life. Men stamp their feet, breath sharp in the air. Autumn has arrived, and with it, a sense of urgency that borders on desperation. This is a final blow, the last push that will end the war in the East. At least that is how it is framed. The first days look promising. Vyazma, Bryansk, another massive encirclement, another collapse on the map. German radios crackle with reports of success. Tens of thousands captured. Roads opening. The capital now less than 200 kilometers away. From forward observation posts, officers imagine they can almost feel it. Moscow, the heart of the Soviet state, waiting just beyond the horizon. Then the weather turns. Rain falls without pause. Not showers, sheets. Roads dissolve into brown rivers. Tanks churn helplessly. Tracks spinning. Hulls sinking deeper with every attempt to move. Horses scream as wagons overturn. Men use fence posts, planks, even their bare hands to dig vehicles free. Progress is measured in meters. Sometimes none at all. Supplies stall far to the rear. Fuel drums sit unreachable. Ammunition is rationed. Food grows scarce. Bread freezes overnight, then thaws into sludge by noon. Soldiers sleep in soaked uniforms, boots never dry, feet swelling and splitting. Still, the enemy fights. Soviet resistance hardens as the Germans slow. Defensive lines thicken. Artillery appears where reconnaissance reported nothing days before. Snipers haunt the tree lines. Every village becomes a trap, burned, abandoned, mined, or suddenly alive with gunfire. And then the temperature drops. The first snow falls lightly, almost beautifully. Men catch flakes on their sleeves, joking that it will be gone by morning. But the ground hardens. Engines seize. Oil thickens. Weapons misfire. There are no winter uniforms. No gloves. No insulated boots. No parkas. Berlin had promised the war would be over by now. By late October, German patrols can see the spires of Moscow's outer suburbs through binoculars. They are close enough to believe again. Close enough to keep going. But belief does not warm hands. It does not start engines. It does not fill empty stomachs. Somewhere east of front, fresh Soviet units arrive. Faces calm, uniforms white, rifles clean. Siberians, trained for cold, equipped for it. They watch the exhausted invaders struggle forward. And they wait. When the cold took command, November 1941, outside Klin and Istra, the temperature falls below -20. The cold arrives like an executioner, silent, absolute, indifferent. Breath freezes in midair. Metal burns skin on contact. Men wake to find their boots frozen solid, laces locked in ice. Some cannot pull them on at all. Others do, teeth clenched, ignoring the blood. Engines refuse to start. Bolts snap. Grease turns to glue. Panzer crews light fires beneath their vehicles, desperate to warm the oil enough to move. The flames attract artillery. Soviet shells fall with brutal accuracy. One tank burns. Then another. Black smoke rises against the white sky. The advance slows to a crawl, and then stops. Orders from high command grow sharper, more detached. Hold positions. No retreat. Not a step back. But positions are nothing more than shallow scrapes in frozen earth. Picks shatter. Shovels bend. Men dig with bayonets and bare hands. Fingers turning blue, then white, then numb. Frostbite spreads faster than fear. Medics amputate toes, fingers, entire feet. There are no morphine supplies left. Soldiers bite down on leather straps as bones are cut. The wounded are stacked in barns that offer no warmth, only the illusion of shelter. Across the lines, the Red Army gathers. Fresh troops move silently through the snow, white camouflage blending perfectly with the landscape. Skis glide where boots stumble. T-34 tanks, wide tracks, diesel engines, start without hesitation and roll forward like predators. On December 5th, the Soviets strike. Artillery erupts along the entire front. Katyusha rockets scream overhead, their howling sound tearing through already frayed nerves. German lines buckle as wave after wave crashes into them. Units that once advanced in perfect formation now fight simply to survive. Orders contradict each other. Communications fail. Divisions fracture. Some commanders pull back without permission. Others refuse and are overrun. Entire regiments vanish into the snow. Swallowed by encirclement, the Germans once perfected themselves. For the first time, the Wehrmacht is not advancing. It is retreating. And for the first time, the word spreads in whispers. Defeat. Not total. Not yet. But real. The myth of invincibility, so carefully built since 1939, cracks in the frozen forest west of Moscow. Soldiers look east and see not victory, but an endless white void that offers nothing and forgives nothing. The war has changed, and Germany has crossed a line it cannot step back over. The turning point no one announced. December 1941, west of Moscow. The longest nights of the war. Snow falls constantly now, softening the wreckage but not the suffering. Retreating German units move in silence, faces wrapped in rags, weapons slung more for balance than readiness. Discipline still exists, but it is thinner, stretched, fraying at the edges. Every step, west feels heavier than the last. This is not a rout. It is something worse. A realization. Commanders speak carefully, avoiding certain words. Orders emphasize elastic defense, short withdrawals, temporary adjustments. But the maps tell the truth. The arrows no longer point east. They are pulling back, kilometer by kilometer, away from the prize that justified everything. Behind them lie frozen bodies, men and horses locked together in final positions. Abandoned guns rhymed with ice. Tanks left where they died. Fuel lines empty. Engines cracked beyond repair. The snow preserves it all, turning defeat into a permanent landscape. The Red Army does not chase blindly. It advances methodically, confidently, learning as it goes. Units that once broke now hold. Officers who survived the purges find their footing. The Soviet state, written off as incompetent and doomed, has absorbed the blow and remains standing. In Berlin, the language changes. The war is no longer about swift victory. It is about endurance. Resources are redirected. Production is intensified. Speeches grow darker, more defensive. Blame shifts. Generals argue. Hitler tightens his grip, refusing retreats, convinced that will alone can still bend reality. But reality has already answered. Operation Barbarossa did not fail in a single moment. It failed quietly. One frozen engine, one empty fuel truck, one exhausted soldier at a time. By the winter outside Moscow, Germany is no longer fighting for conquest. It is fighting for survival. And the cost will be paid in cities that have not yet been bombed, by men not yet drafted, on fronts not yet opened. The war has expanded beyond control, beyond prediction. What began as an invasion has become a grinding struggle that will consume everything in its path. The turning point did not come a parade or surrender. It came in the snow, in the cold, in the moment Germany went too far.